So directed by Kelly Reichardt, who is a really, really terrific filmmaker, made Wendy and Lucy, Meek's Cut Off, Night Moves. So this is based on the stories of Madeline Malloy, a triptych with sort of subtle intertwining stories which just kind of only tangentially connect with each other. There is, of course, a deliberate ambiguity in that title, Certain Women. Does it mean women who are certain, or does it mean certain kinds of women? It's deliberately ambiguous, and the film plays with that ambiguity. Laura Dern is a lawyer who has a client who's got a long-standing case against his employers, and he keeps coming to her office. She struggles to help him. She's fighting a losing battle. Finally, she gets him to see another lawyer who's a man who says, you haven't got a case, and he understands. Laura Dern is offended, and then everything goes completely postal. Then we have Michelle Williams, who's worked with Reichardt many times, who's a mother whose home life is falling apart just as she is attempting to build this kind of idyllic woodland hills retreat, peaceful nature, fractious family life. And then Kristen Stewart is a young intern running a night school legal class into which walks Lily Gladstone's rancher. She's an outsider, and she just sees people going to this class, and she decides to go in, and she somehow forms a bond with this young woman. They end up talking about their lives in a diner. Here's a clip.
I took this job before I finished law school. I wanted any job. I was afraid of my loans coming due. I didn't know where Belfry was. I guess I was thinking about Belgrade, which is a lot closer. So stupid. And I got a real job. And they're letting me do this because they think it's funny. The pass is icy. It takes me 4 hours to get here. It's gonna take me 4 hours to get back. I have to work in the morning. Did you tell me how you ended up in this class?
I just saw people going in.
So the thing about Reichardt's movies is they're very much about mood and tone, and often they're about looking rather than talking. Waiting for Godot was once described as a play in which nothing happens twice. And you could arguably say that Certain Women is a film in which nothing happens 3 times. But there's a lot happening in the apparently nothing happening. And a lot of it is to do with the looks, the glances, the way that Gladstone's character looks at Kristen Stewart's character with something which may be longing, maybe something she can't quite comprehend, maybe a desire for herself to escape from the surroundings that she's in. It's very enigmatic, and it's all beautifully underplayed. The way that Michelle Williams looks at her family, her husband, her daughter, and at the landscape in which she is building this house, and the way in which the dreams of building this thing also mix with the nightmares of what's actually happening in her life. The way Laura Dern just looks at the world with a sense of resigned exasperation, even when in what's the most action-packed part of the story, it turns into, something which is almost a crime thriller. Reichardt has always had this thing about her films have a subversive mood. It's not necessarily that the narrative goes off somewhere that's completely, but it's to do with the mood, it's to do with the tone. Meek's Cut Off was doing something that we haven't seen done before with the Western. And I liked this film. I didn't love it. And I know that some people, colleague of mine, Wendy Ide, who is a great film critic, absolutely loves it. And I don't love it. I think that what it is very intriguing, it's certainly something which I need to see again. I have a lot of correspondence with people saying, when do you find time to see films again? If there's a film that I like, then in my own time, I watch it. You have to see 10 films a week to new films that are coming out.
In your own time?
Because I am perfectly able to do that, because, it's, if I see a film that I like, it often takes 2 or 3 times again. I did feel watching Certain Women, it was going to take me 2 or 3 runs to really get the measure of it. Terrific performances, as I said, all to do with mood, all to do with tone. A film which requires watching and requires patience, but raises really interesting questions about these people, about their lives, about the way in which their lives do or don't intersect. and a film in which more is spoken in the silences and the looks than is spoken in the dialogue.